I'm Gerard O'Donnell. I'm Regional Development Officer with Athletics Ireland at Dublin City Council, and the main area I cover is the Dublin City Council region. My background as an athlete is from joining Carrick and Shannon AC at the age of 6 and never stopped. So over 20 years I've been a member of Carrick and still competing for them to this day. So when I was younger, I suppose every event going, try out everything, mostly high jump, hurdles, did a little long jump and multi events and relays. We had a pretty good relay team with our town, so we were lucky. And then as I got older, kind of high jump and long hurdles were the focus for a long while, and then focused mainly on long hurdles until mid-20s, and then the last couple of years I moved down, thankfully, in distance to the sprint hurdles and had a good bit of success in those, winning a couple of national titles and getting a chance to represent Ireland at European level over the last couple of years. As a coach, I probably have experience at all levels, from primary schools right up to senior athletes. Over the last 10 years, I suppose I've done a little bit with all sorts of groups and all ages and disciplines and event levels. Mostly now focusing on, in my own group, coaching the sprinters and hurdlers, and then I also do a lot of work with some middle distance athletes for their strength and conditioning training. Events that interest me the most, I suppose, are the sprints and hurdles, and any of the events that I competed in the past as well as myself. You get to know, I suppose, what the athletes are going through when you're watching them. The high jump is all I'd like to watch, and when it comes to championships and competitions, the field events are always very exciting to watch, and the multi-events as well. And there can always be some great drama in the middle distance events also. Any event that has an Irish athlete competing in, you want to keep an eye on how they're doing, and that tends to be the middle distance events a lot. So. Hobbies and interests, I suppose I'm fairly heavily involved in sport, so sport takes up a lot of time. And even outside of athletics, I'd watch a lot of soccer with Arsenal and watch a good bit of basketball, NBA and stuff like that. So that kind of keeps me going. I'd listen to a lot of music, try and get out to gigs whenever you can, and whenever training and coaching allows me a little bit of free time to go see someone live. And I like to do a bit of travelling as well. Competing, get to travel a good bit around Europe, but you don't often get to see too much of the destinations we're in. So when there's a bit of downtime, I like to get away to a couple of new cities, new countries, and see a bit of the world. Biggest influence has probably been my family. They've always been there to give me good support throughout my years competing in athletics, and still are there for me. So and my mother especially, I suppose, she's been involved with the local club here for over 30 years, so she's been a big factor in keeping me involved in the sport and keeping getting many others started and keeping them going as well. So yeah, family would have been a big support for me there. And then influences would have been my coaches I've had through the years as well. So like I mentioned, my mother Mary, John Connolly here in Carrick and Shannon, along with Michael O'Brien, and then in the last couple of years Jeremy Lyons in Dublin. So yeah, they've been the ones that have kind of, I suppose, shaped my outlook on the sport and kept me motivated and kept me involved the most. Fondest memories would probably be going to Mosney. I suppose was always a big one when we were younger. It was kind of our version of the Olympics, and it was as close as the Olympics that most of us will ever get, so that was always an exciting weekend away and a good level of competition. And then I suppose the Irish schools, winning the Irish schools in the 400 metre hurdles, that was probably one of my favourite moments as an athlete anyway, definitely. It's just kind of, the schools is always the big one as a juvenile, and to come away with a gold in that was a really exciting time. And then last year, I suppose, going to compete with Team Ireland at the European Games in Minsk, that was probably one of my favourite moments as a senior athlete, I suppose. It was to be away with at a multi-sport games with the different disciplines involved, along with Team Ireland and teams all around Europe. It was a really exciting championships and a great experience for everyone I think that was there.